Good afternoon, folks. Pete Yetton here, Managing Director of Remarkablelaw Consultancy, Limited, higher education strategist, immigration lawyer, and overall higher education, further education, private education support professional with a team of specialists here to help you. So, vlog number 3 for the white paper. Let's focus on solutions. I just really want to stick with solution-based thinking right now. I know they're proposals, but the proposals will potentially, obviously, soon become fact and guidance and rules. And I've been saying, I think on the last 2 vlogs, let's be really careful about what we're putting out there in the social media world, because some of this stuff can, which isn't necessarily all fact about the sector and how compliant it is, and it is very compliant, but some of the comments are to the negative of that. That will potentially end up shaping the perception of some policy thinkers and think tanks. So let's make sure we get the facts correct. And let's just work on solutions right now whilst we're working with lobbying groups and feeding into people to explain this a lot clearer. So there's a couple of big concerns here still going on. The BCA metrics increasing, or rather getting more restrictive, and then red, amber, green, that's going to get brought in. How's it going to work as a vehicle? We're not really sure. It's a question that's been posed to me quite a lot in the last 5 days. I can't see it being an annual RAG, because what is the point? You have that with the BCA metrics anyway, and they could quite easily just change the way that they deal with action plans, revocation, and suspensions. So to me, the RAG is going to be I think it's going to be a continual piece of assessment throughout the entire academic year. It'd be very interesting to see how the Home Office cope with that volume of work and data coming through, and how they actually benchmarking that. What stats are they using? As we know, they normally use the things like HESA stats for completion rates, etc. So that'd be interesting. The other one is levies, the levy on the fees. It really is going to affect a couple of areas quite significantly. Those institutions and businesses that haven't got a very equal demographic of money coming into the higher education institution or college or private school or private provider, and it's pretty much solely relying on international fee income, but they're doing a phenomenal job at that sub-undergrad level. They are definitely, depending on what the percentages are, it's really going to financially hit them in terms of being able to offer what they offer at the moment. Equally, universities that don't have those links but are really heavily relying on higher risk markets and potentially have quite a large foothold with international fees and not a great demographic of other income coming in, then they too will end up really feeling the pinch. So we really need to try and thrash out what the levy is really early on, and then feed into the ramifications and do a piece of analysis on that really quickly. So let's focus on the solution. Got another minute and a half or so. One thing to look at, we looked at agents and how we manage that agent piece. Let's look internally. What's critical right now as you look at this more constraints on the BCA metrics? It's super important, and we've already covered the visa refusal side. That was done in the last vlog. The enrollment and completion bit is the part of the international student journey where most things could potentially go wrong once they're here. And that's the bit that really needs absolute focus. We need to ensure that our processes are fundamentally aligned across schools, faculties, into some form of centralized area, which is really guiding a lot of the processes. So there's uniformity and there's clarity about what we do, even though there's a sense of autonomy across some of the schools and faculties in what they do, and they have their own separate identity, which is really very obvious in Russell groups, and it's becoming more and more as universities are starting to diversify their structure slightly. Let's also look at where visa compliance sits. They need to have oversight of the operational piece of work that's going on across the board. Now, we have got to move away from people just feeling that they are strategic thinkers and not operational, and vice versa, operational and I don't know about strategy. You cannot have a strategy without knowing the operational ramifications of your decision making, and you cannot just do your job without knowing why you're doing your job. Okay, so those things are really clear. Structure of the visa compliance team. Where does that sit? Has it got exposure? Has it got the maximum impact for that institution? And let's look at processes internally. Are they aligned? Do they make sense? Are they really clearly understood? And let's start marrying out that piece of work as we've been doing for quite a long time now. Any other issues? Just give me a ring, okay? And I'm here. I'll be having more vlog updates with the white paper. Have a wonderful weekend and stay connected.